Hello, welcome back to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. Well, today we're talking all things carbs. I had a couple of questions after my video on protein, and you'll find a link actually to that one below, about how we can cut down on carbs. So I thought today I would share some of my own tried and tested tips on doing just that. Now, of course, here at Earle Wellbeing, we would never advocate for cutting any foods out completely. I'm just not into restricted eating. But when it comes to carbohydrates, we often consume far more than we really need. And for such a long time, we've been told that our meals need to contain so many carbs. You know, the classic one is that image of the plate with a quarter this, a quarter that, etc. But really, this is doing us a bit of a disservice. Carbs, I have to be honest, really are very, very low on my list of priorities when it comes to meal times. And this is because carbs have a tendency to spike our blood sugar levels. So, for instance, it might be really tempting to reach for the toast and the jam in the morning, but it can send our blood glucose levels through the roof. And we'll probably be starving again, not too much longer later, and then setting ourselves up for craving even more sugar throughout the day. Yeah, disaster. So if we do eat carbs, we need to be quite mindful to consume them with other food groups like fats and proteins, because that slows down that blood sugar spike. So this might mean having an egg, one of my favourites, maybe spinach or avocado with a slice of sourdough, rather than just the sourdough on its own. But how do we cut down in general? Well, okay, let's just dive in here. Starting the day right is my number one tip. And you've probably heard me say this more than once. First meal of the day, let's start as we mean to go on and prioritise protein and fats over the carbs. When we wake up, our tummy is empty. So if we're eating carbs, that's going to be absorbed super quickly. And that will then send our blood sugar levels skyrocketing because there's nothing else in there. So instead, you can keep things calm and balanced and reach for something that's going to keep us feeling fuller for longer and much less likely to crave sugar later in the day. So yeah, you've guessed it, a boiled egg is a super easy go-to. Ready in just a matter of minutes, it's cheap, teeming with nourishment. So these really are the top of my well-being list. I sometimes boil a whole load and just have them later on as snacks. You can pair boiled eggs with some veggie crudités, or if you absolutely must have something sweet, maybe some low GI berries. Blueberries are one of my favourites, absolutely teeming with antioxidants, anthocyanins, really good for the skin. I like Greek yogurt too, full fat obviously, because that's going to keep us feeling fuller for longer. Okay, next, let's have a little think about drinks. So after starting the day right, we're setting ourselves up for a much healthier, balanced day because our blood sugar levels will already be much more stable. But of course, it's not just what we eat where the sugars can creep in. They are lurking, for sure, in what we drink too. And I think that with the chillier months just around the corner, we will probably start to see those adverts for the cosy looking lattes appearing on the high street. But some of these can contain absolutely whopping amounts of sugar. I'm not just talking a teaspoon or two. Some of these latte drinks can contain over 50 grams of sugar. That equates to more than 10 teaspoons in one cup. So if you love these types of cuppers, there are ways that you can make your own at home, and for a fraction of the price and a fraction of the sugar. Well, one of my go-to recipes for autumn and winter is spiced coffee. Really, really good. And in fact, we've done a video on this on YouTube already. You can find a link to the recipe below. I'll make sure we pop it there. But it's really super simple because it's just a blend of spices. We're using things like cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, black pepper, nutmeg, ginger. You just add these to your cafetiere and then you brew the coffee and enjoy. And because it's quite flavourful, there's no need to add lashings of extra sugar or syrup because it's just really delicious. And it's not just hot drinks either. If you are a stickler for squash or fizzy drinks, you can make much healthier, cheaper alternatives at home. Slices of lemon, lime, they add a real pep to flavour. You can put that into sparkling or still water. Herbal teas, they're also really good just to top up hydration levels throughout the day without adding all the unnecessary carbs. Well, my next tip is to reduce slowly. So if chocolate is your Achilles heel, yeah, definitely guilty of that one, try swapping out the milk chocolate varieties for something a little bit darker. I absolutely adore dark chocolate, but it can be a bit bitter if you're not used to it. I certainly found that. So the trick is to ease yourself in gradually. Start with a bar that has maybe 60, 70% cocoa solids, and then as you become more used to that stronger flavour, you can kind of scale down. You can opt for a bar with a higher percentage of cocoa solids, 80, 90, you can even get 100%. That is quite hardcore. But the better dark quality chocolate you consume, the more health benefits you enjoy. So, for example, studies show that dark chocolate is more filling than milk chocolate. It can also help to reduce cravings for salty, fatty or sugary things. Great. So, of course, the key is not to let yourself get super hungry. And I think it's all well and good saying avoid snacking in between meals, but letting ourselves get super hungry can obviously lead to us making pretty rash and maybe poor decisions when it comes to supper time. But if you're getting a bit peckish mid-afternoon, again, go for something that prioritises protein and fat over sugar. So things like cheese, handful of nuts, maybe some hummus with some veggie sticks. These are the kinds of things that will keep you going until dinner time without spiking your blood sugar in the same way that a biscuit will. So you can find some of my favourite protein-rich snacks in the previous video, actually all about protein. Again, you'll find a link to that just below. So there we have it really, just a few tips. What do you think? Do you try and go low carb? Let me know how you reduce your carbs in the diet, if so. It's always so helpful to share, and I think we can just glean so many health benefits, especially through midlife and beyond. I mean, I know, for one thing, the difference to my waistline has actually been quite eye-opening. So as ever, do share this video with your friends and loved ones. Don't forget to click subscribe to ensure that you never miss an update from me or my team. I'll see you here next time. Go well. Bye.